Every time Taylor Swift releases a project, I'm increasingly perplexed as to how popular she is, what she's been able to achieve, and how Swifties are the most delusional bunch of people that I've experienced in America, kind of akin to MAGA. All of you Taylor Swift fans who love Taylor but hate this new album, just know that what this new album sounds like to you is what this album has always sounded like to us. First time, I think, in any Taylor Swift release, I'm seeing a lot of white people come out and critique the album in a way that we all knew was the truth about the kind of music that Taylor Swift makes.
Taylor Swift makes music for people that don't like music. It's always been so plain and vanilla for me, and I'll die on that hill. So
Taylor Swift is handing the conservative agenda on a silver platter to the masses.
Taylor Swift's new album is many things. Unfortunately, good is not one of them.
I am a dark and twisted poet. The corners of my mind, you'll never know it.
Taylor is the pinnacle of what it means to praise white mediocrity. And in America, it is better for you to be mediocre and white and prop that up than it is for white people to aspire to greatness, which is why they have the ability to even open their mouths and compare Taylor Swift to Beyonce, because to them, Taylor is attainable. White people don't want to reach for the stars because they are the status quo in America, right? So when you are told that you are the standard, why would I have to attain this unattainable greatness? Whereas black people, we're taught from birth that in order to even make it in this country, which is true, you have to be 2 to 3 times better than your average white person. So culturally, based on our oppression in this country, black people don't align with mediocrity. And, you know, when I call Taylor Swift mediocre, you guys get really upset about that term. Mediocre isn't a bad thing. Majority of the people in the world are average. The majority of the people in America are average. Whether you're white, black, brown, Asian, Hispanic, anything, you're average. But the difference is that we culturally do not align ourselves with mediocrity in the same way that white people do, because you guys are told you are the standard. And if you are the standard, why would you have to be anything else? I knew this moment was going to happen eventually, where people were going to wake up to the fact that every single one of her albums sounds the same, and that she's not even that amazing of a songwriter. It's just that her attainability made her this grandiose thing. Because if it was her songwriting abilities that made her so amazing, I could name you 10 songwriters right now as a songwriter who should be more popular than Taylor Swift. So it's not her songwriting ability that makes you guys love her. It's her mediocrity and how that mediocrity is attainable to you, and it represents who you are. But is the music good? No, guys. It's very bland. It's very vanilla. It's very mayonnaise on white toast on type of white rice. Like, it's not great. And I think the sooner we can become realistic about who and what she represents, then we can understand why she's so big. Is she one of the most popular artists ever to exist? Absolutely. Does that popularity equal her talent? Never. Taylor Swift is as mediocre and bland as boiled chicken on white rice, and the music has always sounded the same. Saying that, or you hearing that, offends you because it's your favorite artist, but it's not incorrect. Unfortunately, the pipeline between Swifties and racism is a one-to-one, usually in my experience. And that is the only reason that these videos I'm making are being made, because Taylor Swift doesn't represent an artist. She represents the entity of whiteness and white womanhood in America. If I can make a Venn diagram of MAGA, Swifties, let's throw the barbs in there, and then education and delusion, they kind of all are in the same salad bowl of people who don't live in reality and concepts escape them. To equate Taylor Swift's album sales and tour sales with her talent is a false equivalency, especially when you guys are online sharing that you've all spent thousands of dollars buying 29 copies of her album or her CDs because she put out like 25 different iterations of a limited edition copy of her album. So you want us to believe that 2 million people bought her album when you guys are online showing that you have purchased 10 to 30 copies of her album? Is that what we're saying right now?
Taylor Swift.
Okay, great gowns, beautiful gowns.
It's just so sad that these type of conversations have to occur, and that racism is so easily adaptable to any conversation or any topic that's had. Mediocrity is not an insult. It's only an insult because you think you're the status quo, and the status quo isn't mediocre, but it is. Taylor Swift's music sounds like AI wrote it. It literally sounds like she's performing at the Iowa State Fair, and that it's music for like the wives of the ICE agents are at a barbecue with seasonless, sauceless barbecue. And that's okay if you love it. These conversations are even perpetuated because of how crazy her fans are. You come online and you say things like, she's the best. She's better than Beyonce. She's bigger than Michael Jackson. And you're comparing someone who's at a level 4 on a 10 scale at her best to people who give 12 to 15 at their best. Beyonce and Michael Jackson. And it's only because she's white and a woman that you're like, oh, especially a black woman, she has to be down here. And then a black man, you know, he's here. But a white woman, oh God, she's definitely the top. And she's fucking not. Here bashing her. What people are doing is saying your delusion and deluded sense of self, is the reason why you think you can come online and be racist and compare someone mediocre to people who are exceptional. That's the whole point of this conversation. And you guys don't realize that.
Juicy! Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to another episode of Nerd Chronicles, which hosts the socially awkward nerd Christian Paul speaking. And ladies and gentlemen, the block has been extremely hot in regards to Taylor Swift's new album, The Life of a Showgirl, aka The Life of an Old School Stripper, or Scripper, if basically you know the slang term, you know what I mean in regards with that, right? Because that's what the original term showgirl is, ladies and gentlemen. And I initially had no plans into making this video today in regards to Taylor Swift situation, but because the block has been so hot, and now you see a bunch of now former Swifties really converting out of like the Taylor Swift fan hole and everything that in that nature, and they're literally going berserk over her album and what the lyrics and what she said. It is gone extremely chaotic and also extremely juicy at the same time. Juicy. So, my curiosity has actually reached a little bit of high peak, so I got a little bit of time today to have a little bit of fun to do some analysis when it comes to lyrics that she wrote throughout the 12 songs, and I intend to do it definitely here in this video, which definitely would be a long one, but we are going to go through each and every song and go through these lyrics and basically see what they really mean, since a lot of people have done their little deciphering, and since I'm a little bit of an analyst myself, and no, I'm not going to actually play the song due to the fact, due to copyright. I don't want to try and get hit with like any copyright ordeals of what Taylor plans to do. So we're going to actually read those lyrics definitely from Genius.com and see what they actually really mean in regards with that. So this is going to be an extremely bumpy ride. And once we actually dig into those lyrics, we'll actually dive deep into the mindset of who Taylor Swift really is. Juicy, juicy, juicy. Juicy! Juicy! Alright, so ladies and gentlemen, alright, we have the actual page from Genius.com that actually shows all the lyrics to Taylor Swift's The Life of a Showgirl definitely here. So this is basically the most recent one, which follows the Torture Poets Apartment. And basically, from what I'm hearing from a lot of the Swifties, basically much of Taylor Swift's music are basically mainly around men, you know, ex-men and current men that she's definitely with. So it's a lot of juiciness that mainly comes down with it. Now, this album mainly describes more about the man that she's currently with. NFL legendary tight end Travis Kelce, 3-time Super Bowl winner here. Basically 3-time Super Bowl winner. Basically want to argue one of the best tight ends, in NFL history right now. So we see all the tracks that you see up here, and again, I'm not gonna play any of these songs due to copyright strikes, and God knows if they're gonna actually block this up, so we're not gonna do it. But we're gonna actually read the lyrics and see what we can find in this to see what they really mean. So these are 12 tracks that we are dealing with, and we are actually going to go dig deeper into them. It's going to be extremely fun.
I'm so sorry, this has to be said though. I truly believe the only reason that Taylor Swift is as famous as she is because the most average, unspectacular, boring, victim complex, self-absorbed girls who are so fucking hung up on their middle school boyfriend for cheating on them by the bleachers when they're pushing 40 now, they see themselves in her. They're like, oh, that's me. And if she's that talentless and mid and boring and she's that famous, she's a billionaire, then that means I can do it too. And it's very disturbing. You guys never do anything provocative. You never actually do anything meaningful. You just kind of victimize yourself and cry about boys. The world is burning, babe. Hello?
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we have the fate of Ophelia, in which we are looking into verse by verse. So the first verse is, I hear you calling on the megaphone. You want to see me all alone. As legend has it, you are quite the pyro. You light the match to watch it blow. So basically, she's basically talking about the now fiance Travis. They want to try and meet him, and they actually called and they want to try and deal with a date. And basically says you want to see him all alone. And as legend has it, you were quite the pyro. You light the match to watch it blow. TNT, Travis and Taylor, right? So basically that's what it is. And they have the pre-chorus saying, and if you'd never come for me, I might have drowned in the melancholy. All these gnats are so annoying, excuse me. And how many fairy tales Prince comes and rescues a princess. In the story, her prince rescues her favorite Ophelia, going insane and committing suicide. And basically, Ophelia, according in the poetry, mainly dies from drowning. So, she swears the Lord to me, myself, and I, right before you lit my sky up. Ironically, before the Cancy show, the Eras tour with Travis Kelce would attend and attempt to woo Swift with a friendship bracelet. Swift shared pictures from an Independence Day party featuring single friends at the time, declaring herself and her friends independent girlies. Okay, and here come the chorus. And they said, let me tell you the rest when I thought that. Can't See Belong was so fun. It was so fun just to see. And pardon the blinking that's been going on. Fun seems going just like when I take different notes speaking, like almost in time periods, the way people used to speak. And there's certain experience ways Freddie thinks it's locked inside my memory. And you only possess the key. And they have all the descriptions. So we look into the lyrics. Tyra refers to the Pastor Swift was put on during the Hot and Family Eras tours going on. And Travis Kelce was honing the powers and was she deals with Shakespearean tragedy, shows imprisonment and isolation. And they basically, according to Taylor, Travis basically dug her out of it. And they saved the heart from the fate of Ophelia. And you keep 100 on the land, the sea, the sky. Basically, when they kept it 100, pledge allegiance to your hands. Because they also deal with the team, loyalty. And they basically deal with the size. When they holding hands, the team, Kansas City Chiefs, the vibes, personality. They mainly blended with the Ophelia. And it says, don't care what the hell you've been, because now you're mine. It's about to be sleepless night you've been dreaming of. And they inspired by the sleepless nights. And they have the eldest daughter of a normal man, in which they actually do it from the play. Ophelia lived in a fantasy, in which much of the songwriting is rooted in daydreams and storytelling, and they used the tragedy coming to the art, in which love was a gold bed full of scorpions, And basically they had the play coming now with this Come Through All the Way Out. And they have a metaphor saying I'm out of the purgatory, meaning that Travis may relives Taylor some of her pain and loneliness, portraying him as a savior in some sort, and basically wrap me like around in a chain, basically with the savior, pulling Taylor into the fire. And what the feelings had swift felt over the last couple of years, made her feel like she was drowning, unable to catch a breath of fresh air until Travis mainly came along. And this is the same lyrics is there, and you have the bridge. Basically, you have a direct quote from Hamlet, translating Shakespeare's idea of memory and binding into a personal, intimate context. And now Taylor is not drowning because now she found Travis here from what they're seeing. And basically, Taylor here, they actually compared Taylor's situation with Travis down to the actual play, in which they say the mind was locked until Travis came by and actually saved her. Basically, you know what I mean? She actually saved her from the chaos that's actually been shown. And this is one of the big songs that we are dealing with when it comes to the fate of Ophelia. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, we got the second track of the day called Elizabeth Taylor, and we will see what this is about. So basically she honors Elizabeth Taylor here, was the old Hollywood star that's known for the turbulent personal life and acting, just like with Taylor Swift, who has a bunch of ex-boyfriends, but has yet to marry, right? Each where they deal with a marriage to a topic of public discussion, in which she compares herself to Taylor, and whose past relationships have also been highly publicized, dealing with the connection in which she seems to show on her love life with the ever-present complication of fame, in which she describes difficulty finding someone to trust. So she asks, you think it's forever, right? So same stuff. That's like when it comes to blank space, when it comes to relationships, ever and ever more. Now, verse 1, that view of Portofino was on my mind when you called me at Plaza Atene. And basically they had the connection with Elizabeth Taylor. Both Taylor and Byrne were also frequent guests at the Hotel Plaza Atene in Paris. Right? And now it continues with, ooh, sometimes it doesn't feel so glamorous to me. And she admits that fame can be very, very exhausting. Under bright lights, they withered away. All the right guys promised they stay. Under bright lights, they withered away. But you bloom. Travis. Portofino was on my mind. Right? So basically, the bright lights in which Taylor Swift references may be the fame, which was too much for some of the men she dated in the past few months. She paid in the past to handle. Particularly, Dan Spiegel may have led to a break with Joe Alwyn, who's been dating Swift after a feud with Kanye. Lowered the popularity in his relationship with her and during the height of her fame while she was doing the Eras tour. Now, if we go through the chorus here, and they talk about how she loves Elizabeth Taylor so much, and then we look into the lyrics that you see here. Pardon, there's a little bit of that's there. I climb my eyes, Violet, Elizabeth Taylor. Tell me for real, do you think it's forever? And it has most of songwriting. Been number one, but I never had two. Meanwhile, she has major hits and number one hits in the charts. She had never had another person to sell successes with. But this her ability to join them. Excuse me. Being my New York when Hollywood hates me. You're only hot as your last hit, baby. Been number one, but never had two. And I can't have fun if I can't have you. All right? So that's Elizabeth Taylor. That's definitely there. It's sarcastic and dismissive tone here. Just subverts on what she says. With stars only viewed by their popularity. As the last one's on our success, the public media will start to believe they are no longer as successful as they were before. Moreover, this could also be a response to President Donald Trump's social media assault against Taylor Swift on his platform. Two social ways said, just look at woke singer Taylor Swift. I can't stand her hate. She was booed out of Super Bowl and became no longer hot. And as he says, as I can't have fun if I can't have you. Struggling similar down bad. What she says, fuck it if I can't have us. I might not get up. I might stay down bad. Fuck it if I can't have him. How dare you think it's romantic? Leave me safe and stranded. Cause fuck it, I was in love. So fuck you if I can't have us. End quote. Verse 2 comes in. What could possibly get the girl who has everything and all and nothing at once, right? And babe, I would trade a Cartier for someone to trust. And she says basically just kidding. And B basically say we hit the best booth at Musso's and Frank's. Once they had the grill that's up in Hollywood. And they say I'm bad news. I'm just saying thanks. Both Taylors have been friends as bad news for men. What Swift strokes out the criticism. And you, referring to Travis, she shows in that court attracts people towards her for good or for what. She's never been short of drama. And she's merely owned it. And she says, and if you ever leave me high and dry. Basically translating to Taylor warning Travis if homeboy ever fucks her over from what she says, right? Or if the lover leaves her, she'll be as helpless as a boat by the tide going out. A little bit of a narcissistic feel. And post-chorus comes by Elizabeth Taylor, oh, and she says, all my white diamonds. Juicy! And lovers. Or forever, right? And they say, do you think it's forever, right? And the papers on the screen and in their minds. Juicy! Juicy!
Taylor Swift is a mediocre white woman's wildest dream.
Juicy!
Taylor Swift's music sounds like a buffet line at a Kohl's or JCPenney store.
I truly believe the only reason that Taylor Swift is as famous as she is because the most average, like, unspectacular, boring, they see themselves in her. They're like, oh, that's me. And if she's that talentless and mid and boring, and she's that famous, she's a billionaire, then that means I can do it too.
At the Iowa State Fair.
I took her pearls of wisdom, hung them from my neck. I paid my dues with every bruise, I knew what to expect.
Taylor Swift.
Okay, great gowns, beautiful gowns.
Swift's music has sounded the same for the last 10 years. It sounds like white rice with white chicken on top with mayonnaise in between Wonder Bread.
Saying that Taylor Swift has always been shit. At her best, she's mediocre.
Juicy! Juicy!
At her absolute best, it's mid. Now it's dog shit, poo-poo, trash. So
The fact that her fans are in my comment section saying, I just don't understand Taylor Swift's music because you don't understand the lyrics because you're black is insane. And this is why I say Swifties are akin to MAGA, because there's always racism in everything that you guys do and when you're speaking to people who don't appreciate Taylor Swift's music.
People are like, Taylor Swift is a master poet, and then she writes the shit that I wrote in the corner of my homework when I was 11 and sad.
35-year-old girl parading as a 5th grader using lyrics that sound like a precious teen in her teenage years can strive to understand.
You know how to ball, I know Aristotle. Draw the cat eye sharp enough to kill a man, like a tattooed golden retriever. You smoked and ate 7 bars of chocolate. We declared Charlie Puth should be a bigger artist.
She's 35. You know who else is 35? Beyonce was 35 when she released Lemonade.
Juicy!
Mariah Carey was 35 when she released We Belong Together.
Because she's jealous and she's insecure. Because she's not talented, she can't sing, has nothing on the women he's dated before, she's a loser, she's not creative, and she's not as smart as she thinks she is.
Black people don't dislike Taylor Swift because she's white. We don't align ourselves with the mediocrity, like I said. We love a slew of white girls. Adele is that girl. Gaga is that girl. Hayley Williams, that girl. Pink, that girl. Alanis Morissette, Jewel. The list goes on of actually super fucking talented white women who we love. Taylor is mediocre. Get that through your head, guys.
Taylor Swift, thank you so much. As someone who could only read at a 2nd grade reading level, it means so much to me to see representation for people like me in music. Like, now I feel like I can make it. And as a dumbass bitch.
Saying to me that the word mediocre is triggering you guys because you don't understand what definitions mean, or you don't see yourself as average because you've been told you're the status quo, but you're mediocre. Like I said, the majority of the world's mediocre. We should be able to talk about what Taylor Swift represents without you guys coming and saying, well, she's the best. She's not the best.
The way she writes lyrics has always reminded me of the way that I repack a suitcase at the airport when they tell me I'm over the weight limit. A desperate, frantic, haphazardly edited attempt to make everything fit where it does not.
You guys just made her famous and you overbuy her album and you propped her up to this place. So now you're disappointed that the music has always sounded the same. It's never been different. Happy Monday.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is probably one of the spiciest tracks that a lot of people are mainly talking about up in TikTok streets as well as YouTube right now.
Juicy!
Okay, we have Opalite, right? And if you see the color of the Opalite, which is definitely man-made, it's a man-made crystal, it has the white color, right? And then if you see definitely in Oxford they discuss, Onyx is the black color. Taylor refers to Travis as Opalite, which is the code or dog whistle for white. And this is where things get a wee bit spicy. So reading the verses here, she says, I have a bad habit of missing lovers past. My brother used to call it eating out of the trash. It's never gonna last. I thought my house was haunted. I used to live with ghosts. And all the perfect couple says, when you know, and when you don't, you don't. And also Swift, as we know, is the American actor, right? And eating out trash, going back to something after you throwing away, you know, some toxicity that comes by. And Swift alludes to previous songs, says Harnley wants to see Archer, where she addresses her relationship anxieties, right? And all the public couples say, when you know, and when you don't, you don't. And which Lana Del Rey and Jack, I don't know if you use this idiom in their song that's shown. And Antonoff used the lyrics to express the feelings for the wife, Margaret Qualley, and which they had the nod to that perfect duo. Basically, when they had their wedding up in New Jersey, right? And then you got the pre-chorus said, and all the foes and all the friends, ha ha, have seen it before, they'll see it again. Ha ha, life is a song, it ends when it ends. I was wrong. So what she means by that, and she has a reference to Swift's previous song that's shown, and you look into the chorus that is shown here. But my mama told me it's all right. And basically just encouraging confidence. You were dancing through the lightning strikes, sleepless in the onyx night. And again, the onyx color basically means black. But now the sky is opalite. Oh,
Juicy!
Oh, my Lord. Never made no one like you before. You had to make your own sunshine. But now the sky is opalite. Oh,
Juicy!
Right? Darkness, onyx night. Onyx meaning black. Opalite basically meaning white. And she's also being subtle with Travis Kelce based on the moment, due to the fact that Travis has a very deep history of dating like a lot of black women and having serious previous relationships with a lot of black women. And I can understand the interpretation on why a lot of people actually mainly going about this. And now she feels like she's having a victory lap due to the fact that now she finally gets to keep Mr. Travis Kelce. Now, verse 2 basically says, you couldn't understand it, why you felt alone. You were in it for real. She was in her phone, and you were just supposed. And Taylor was referencing Kayla Nicole, right? And basically he was complaining about that right in front of Taylor's face. Right? That's basically what it was. Now, before I move forward, like as a man, why would you even involve your own previous exes and what they done and actually trying to compare them to the new one? Like, why literally involve doing that? If you're literally trying to first start something new, just focus mainly on the two of you. But why bring other people's exes involved in this? Now, if the situation where, you know, the woman was a single mom and you want to try and dig into the background of who the person is just for the sake of the child, and you want to try and figure out how to actually make sure you don't actually just combine and impede co-parenting stuff and make sure everything's okay. That could be different if you're able to coordinate it to do what's best for the child. But if you guys don't have any children, and you hadn't had any children like that before, like, why involve them? Why involve other ex-women up in your mess trying to compare and actually trying to set that standard just for that woman? Just leave that alone and actually just go start new with your new boo. Alright? And vice versa with the woman too. Why trying to put some of the ex on the pedestal for them to compare? This is a reflection of that person's insecurities as to why they would do it. Now, let me continue. The verse 2 continues saying, and don't we try to love, 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 love. We give it all we got. Give it all we got. You finally left the table. And what a simple thought. You're starving till you're not. Basically means Travis finally broke up with Kayla Nicole. Right? And basically saying that, oh, Taylor's finally went off for good and all the restaurant waiting for a past lover. And she may be directing lines to Travis Kelce saying, hey, Travis may no longer be interested in Kayla as well. So it could be a double entendre in this. The pre-chorus comes in saying, and all of the foes and all of the friends, ha ha. Foes and friends watch rain end, have messed up before, they'll mess up again, ha ha. Life is a song and ends when it ends. You move on and skip the chorus. And you see the bridge that you see here. This is just a storm inside a teacup. Meaning that saying and worry about someone important. And basically shows that, Taylor and Travis are bombarded by the media, right? But shelter here with me, my love, thunder like a drum. This life will beat you up, 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 up. This is just a temporary speed bump, but failure brings you freedom, and I can bring you love, 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 love. Basically seeing how roads works, we'll sing with failure, and we'll just skip through the chorus. But y'all seen, Lily, the start of the saltiness, ladies and gentlemen, in regards to Travis' exes based on Taylor's mindset.
Juicy!
Taylor Swift has always given boiled chicken and Regina George. The fact that she's not Travis Kelce's type is hitting her and hitting her hard. She knows that she's not Travis Kelce's type and she is so salty about it. And that salt has since manifested into microaggressions against black women. Because what do you mean, did you girl boss too close to the sun? What did you mean by that, Taylor? Did you girl boss too close to the sun? Excuse me? Pardon? She is so sick and tired of hearing y'all sit on the internet and say, Travis Kelce was so much finer when he was with Kayla Nicole. Travis Kelce looked better and I liked him more when he was with those black girls. She hates that you guys think he's a worse man with her and a better man with them black girls. I mean, at this point, Kayla Nicole is living rent-free in Taylor Swift's head and it's since come out in this album. Okay, we hear it all over the album. Next time they are out in public and a beautiful black woman walks by, if she catches his eyes move even a smidge, if he blinks, she's gonna flip her shit. Taylor Swift reminds me of one of those women who gets with a guy and lets him tell her all the bad things that his ex did to him. I mean, he goes on and on and on about how crazy his ex was, how much she ruined his life and all this stuff. And she listens to it and actually believes him. And we know that that's what's happening because of the song Opalite. I hope I'm saying that right. But yeah, we know that's what's happening. He's sitting around telling you all the things that he didn't like about Kayla. And you're like, oh, I never do that to you, baby. She was always in her phone and you were just opposed to her. Taylor is a pick-me. I mean, me personally, if I get with a guy and he starts talking about his ex and how terrible his ex was, that automatically makes me want to believe that he's the crazy one and the ex is the one that was in the right. Because why are you talking to me about this, sir? But no, not Taylor Swift. She just eats it up. She did that to you. I would never do that to you. And to all my little Swifties who are online right now crashing out because you absolutely hate this new album from her, I say this to you. The problem is y'all have grown up and Taylor hasn't. She's the same old, same old. She was never that amazing, but y'all rallied behind her because of the whole Kanye thing and then tried to elevate her to greatness that she hadn't accomplished yet. That's why it's so important to let artists have an authentic come up. No industry planning, no sympathy fans. Just let the talent speak for itself. When you come up off of sympathy or industry politics, you will never die with the crown. Taylor doesn't know how to elevate as an artist because y'all have awarded this type of mediocrity for years now. She still suck at 19 and she thinks y'all are too. I mean, the girl can't even talk about sex without sounding weird. She's a 35-year-old woman. Like, you're Taylor Swift. Why are you sitting around comparing yourself to other girls. That's so ugh. Like, grow up. Why are you so insecure with yourself, Taylor? I am just shocked that she thought this was a good idea. Who told her? Okay, never mind. I'm not shocked that she thought it was a good idea. Y'all, her fans, have been encouraging this type of ridiculousness for years now. Okay, I'm not shocked. She actually thought all of you would do what you always do and rally around her and bully anyone that she's against. So I'm not shocked.
Just drink the wine so we can go.
I love it here. I feel like if sometimes someone would pay me attention, I wouldn't have to go on social media.
Get off your phone.
I wouldn't have to get on social media and seek validation.
You're not even
from a
drinking.
bunch of strangers
You're not
on the
even
internet.
drinking your wine anymore.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we have further figure analysis in which the Taylor actually interpolates George Michael's 1980 hit, and basically verse 1 basically reads, when I found you, you were young, wayward, lost in the cold, pulled up to you in the jag, turned your rags into gold. The winding road leads to the chateau. You remind me of a younger me. I saw potential. And I think she's referring to the label made from Big Machine that she's actually referring to when the CEO, the entire CEO, I forgot his name, first noticed Taylor Swift. So basically pursuing to be star Porchetta, talking to younger Taylor before she became a huge artist, right? And she comes up, pulled up in a Jaguar with the Porchetta here. Until it's the castle, and basically explaining the idea of a young pop star being her sister in Clara Bow. And basically the track centered hard Warren Crew being incorporated into she found a fresher, younger version of herself, like the title original. So basically she is becoming Scott Borchetta, right? So she says, I'll be your father figure. I drink that brown liquor. I can make deals with the devil because my dick's bigger. So now she's becoming Scott Borchetta now. This love is pure profit. Just step into my office. I dry your tears with my sleeve.
Juicy.
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 So got the mafia thing. Actually dealing with that connection. Drinking the brown liquor. If you go through here. So Swift is a fan of old-fashioned whiskey. Okay. Making deals with the devil because her dick's bigger. Right. And she said with the metaphorical world being someone's father, actually becoming Scott Borchetta himself now that she's super famous and a billionaire. This love is pure profit. Just step into my office. Basically, love is pure profit when it comes to the music industry, when it deals with business relationship, due to the fact that the child can bring, basically the child or the artist can definitely bring the money to them, and how much the profit is mainly boosting up. I dry your tears with my sleeve. Okay, basically deals with song as Sarah Porchetta's character. Right, how we would come to when she cried, and basically says, "Leave it with me. I protect the family, just like with the mafia and their gangs." And verse 2 says, "I paid the check before it kissed the mahogany grain. Said they want to see you rise. They don't want you to reign. I showed you all the tricks of the trade. All I ask is for your loyalty, my dear protege." Right? So this is what Taylor is actually basically saying in this. And they said they want to see you rise. They don't want you to reign. And she knows that the businessman who began a professional career wanted success, but only to the degree with something that they can control. And now they showed her the tricks of the trade, being the businessman and giving the popularity. And now she becomes those businessmen due to the fact that she is a billionaire herself. And they operate with the rule of omerta, which deals with the code of loyalty and silence. And the bridge comes in, in which they say, I saw a change in you. I saw a change in you, my dear boy. They don't make loyalty like they used to, not like they used to. Your thoughtless ambition sparked the ignition of foolish decisions, which led to misguided visions. That to fulfill your dreams, you had to get rid of me. I protect the family.
Juicy.
Now it changes from Porchetta to Taylor now that she is becoming very successful. And now she says, my dear boy, basically trolling Scott Porchetta to baby him and actually literally troll him due to the fact that he made dumb decisions regarding the Masters. Now she is condescending to him here because she now sees herself as the father figure to troll, and relates it because he's now more powerful than him, money-wise, right? And they say they don't make loyalty like they used to, because we know Scott is only loyal to himself based on the verse, and he wants money. He doesn't care who he hurts along the way, including Terry, who he wants treated better. And your thoughtless ambition sparked the ignition on full decisions would let them misguide his visions. And when Scott became way too ambitious and greedy, which made him full sin like getting rid of masks by selling them off, leading to Taylor leaving the record label and recording music, which backfired on Borchetta, in which he says, I protect the family. And that's how Taylor mainly became a billionaire. So the actual family used to business with her, and the rest of the business team and her fans. Ooh, that's spicy.
Juicy!
White mediocrity and it triggered you, didn't it? Let's talk about it. A fundamental adage in the Black community is the idea that we have to work twice as hard to get half as far. And that is a literal reality. And it's a reality that Black people have to contend with on the daily in America. It's the idea and reality of being underestimated upon first glance and then busting your ass to be as good as you possibly can and not getting any attention or praise for it, all the while watching your very fundamentally mediocre peers or coworkers get celebrated for the bare minimum. It's like that time in law school where this guy in my class anonymously and relentlessly emailed me telling me that I had only gotten in because of affirmative action and no one did anything about it. Or that time when Barack Obama wore a tan suit to a press conference and everyone lost their mind, but here we are in Trump's America. The thing is, Black people don't get to be fundamentally average or mediocre. And if they are those things, they're called a welfare queen, or they're lazy, or they're undereducated, or they just don't know how to work for the things they want, right? But you look around, throw a stone, and you'll encounter hundreds of mediocre, average white people being celebrated for the bare minimum. To be Black in this country is to be constantly monitored and surveilled and criticized and detested all of the time. And to be successful, it's not enough to just be good. You have to be brilliant. You have to be beautiful. You have to be exceptional. You have to be charismatic. You have to be humble. You can't brag about it too much, right? It's not enough to be one thing. You have to be all of the things at the same time or you're fucked. But the gift of whiteness is the gift of just existing, right? White people are permitted to just exist, to be mediocre, to be average, to do the bare minimum and to be celebrated for that bare minimum, to be promoted for doing very little, right? White mediocrity is almost like a psychological safety net for white people, right? They know that no matter how far they fall, they'll never be considered lower than Black people. And that gives them a certain joie de vivre, doesn't it? And this term, white mediocrity, is not meant as a diss. It's meant more of as a challenge, right? I have tons of white people that I like, that I'm friends with, my mother, my partner, right? What I'm saying is the structures of America have been built so that white people prosper with doing very little. And the structures are also meant to keep Black people down, right? And we have to fight against those structures unless you love the fact that white mediocrity got you to where you are. Meanwhile, qualified people of color face immense barriers and obstacles to get anywhere in life. And you guys blame any sort of Black success on DEI and affirmative action, right? So let's go through some examples about white mediocrity and counter them against some Black excellence. Donald Trump bested Kamala Harris. That's insane. A lot of you really firmly believe that Taylor Swift is a better artist than Beyonce. That is fundamentally insane. Donald Trump is the president currently, and he's compared to Barack Obama. That is insane. There have been 44 white presidents and a single Black president. Also crazy. I can already hear the white keyboard warriors typing furiously, so angry at me. I got to where I was because of my skills. And I'm not saying that you're not skilled. I'm just saying you were born with so many advantages, right? You were born on third place and Black people were born in the parking lot and still they surpass you. And you can't blame that on DEI or affirmative action, right? You can blame that on Black excellence and the fact that you kind of rely on white mediocrity and the structures that permit you to be that way. Ultimately, I'm not saying that I hate white people or I think they're undeserving of the success they have. What I am asking you to acknowledge all of the time is that you were given so many privileges in order to get where you are today, right? And I need you to inspect your life and make sure that you're accounting for that privilege and helping lift up other marginalized folks. And if my talking about Black excellence and boasting about the successes of Black people makes you mad, that tells me everything I need to know about you. That explains why you voted for Donald Trump over and over again against your best interests. Why you literally think that Taylor Swift is a better artist than Beyonce. Why you hate Obama even though he gave you healthcare, right? You hate Black excellence because it's a mirror to potentially your own mediocrity. And for that, I would suggest you go to a therapist.
But I'm not a black bitch, and I'm not a savage, but I'm scared that you might cheat on me with the black hood bitch, and she's gonna have a fat ass, and I have a flat ass, and I don't have no titties, but your last ex, she has some perky titties, and I'm a insecure white girl with a flat chest, thinking that I want a man that used to date black women, and now I'm taking shots, cause he's all that I got. Oh yeah, he's all that I got, and I'm never gonna let him down, cause he's all American white man, and I'm his American white girl.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, this is arguably one of the spiciest tracks that you see on Taylor Swift's album. And it's basically called Eldest Daughter, right? And basically deals with the vulnerability of the Swift Track 5s according to what is being read. But, yes, you're taking the learns from the older sister when dealing with the father figure. But this is where things become really spicy. So let's go to verse 1 here. So I know you're trying to figure out how to say things that they read on the internet, that they shown according to Taylor. So verse 1 reads, everybody's so punk on the internet, everybody's unbothered till they're not. Every joke's just trolling and mean, sad as it seems, after it's hot. Everybody's cutthroat in the comments, every single hot take is cold as ice. When you found me, I said I was busy. That was a lie. And a little cold as ice apostrophe was stemming from the MOP song. Okay, if you're able to look into Cold as Ice from MOP's album Warriors, look it up. It stems from a few years ago. You have a good, better understanding. So first couple lines, he basically sees discussing the economy culture so smear. And what she says, if you put in a tweet, it's a cop-out. And basically the second line basically means Swift's the Denver trend, main research and context now notice, is more so cooler, not to care, not to try. Young people face pressure appear disaffected, right? As well as unbothered at all times. And everybody's cutthroat in the comments. Keyboard warriors, easier said and done. A single hot take is cold as ice. When you found me, I said it was busy. That was a lie. Basically means that she is showing interest in Travis and she's finding ways to make time for him, right? Because he's showing she wasn't really interested in him at first, right? So basically the pre-chorus says, I've been afflicted by eternal uniqueness. I've been dying just from trying to seem cool. So basically he's trying to play the whole role to fit in just to try and get as much fans. That's basically what she's saying. Now, chorus basically says, but I'm not a bad bitch, and this isn't savage. Actually giving like another soul shot to Kelly Nicole, and basically to a lot of black women that actually originated the terms that came with those artists like Megan Thee Stallion, someone like with Rihanna at the time to a point, and also Kelly Nicole is basically used to be one of the Savage ambassadors for Rihanna as well, right? That's one of the controversial lies that a lot of folks have been picking on when it comes to TikTok, right? So the melody for I'm not a bad bitch who interprets, that's definitely there. And basically shows the entirety of the language perspective on love has mainly changed. But it also has dripped a bit of subtle racism that's actually mainly gone down from what I'm reading. So she also says, but I'm never going to let you down. I'm never going to leave you out. You know what I'm saying? So basically wants to have this wide-on-wide relationship with Travis Kelce from what she's explaining. Make sure she stays loyal, consistent despite all the chaos that she's dealing with, despite all the bits in the moan that Travis is mainly exposing toward Taylor. So many traders, smooth operators, basically dropping the pun from Sade, right? That's what you see up here. Smooth operators, basically hearing it from Sade, and she says, I'm never going to break that vow. I'm never going to leave you now. And you've seen all the Travis exorcists that came by, made them non-white. But she's trying to come by and actually preserve that white family and that white children. And the pre-chorus basically says, verse 2 basically says, the last time I laughed this hard was on a trampoline on someone's backyard. I must have been about 8 or 9. That was when I fell off and broke my arm. Pretty soon I learned about cause discretion. When your first question of some kind. When I said I don't believe marriage, that was a lie. Taylor's childhood. And I fell out, broke the arm. Also childhood, cause discretion. And that's what she learns. When your first questions come time. When you said don't believe marriage, that was definitely a lie. So now she has a different vision according to what Taylor is making an explanation in regards. Pre-chorus says, every eldest daughter was the first lamb to the slaughter. So we all dress up as wolves and we look fire. So you scroll down here, you basically play the plays on wolf in sheep's clothing, but she's basically trying to reveal her true personality and her true self. Bridge basically says, we lie back. A beautiful, beautiful time, last Ferris wheels, kisses and lilacs, and things I said were dumb because I never thought I'd never find that. Beautiful, beautiful life that shimmers and innocent light back like we were young. Every youngest child felt they were raised up in the wild, but now you're home. So basically nostalgia, innocence, that what you say. A lot of juiciness, ladies and gentlemen. A lot of juiciness.
Juicy!
Taylor Swift's obsession with black women, Asians, her man's ties to Republicans, her fake Southern accent, Taylor calling herself a feminist, yet not speaking out against what's happening to women in Sudan, Gaza, Congo. Let's dive into everything. And I want to let you guys know this is based on years of other people's research. I'm just consolidating it and making a video. So Taylor Swift was born in Pennsylvania, not Tennessee. She moved to Tennessee to help her music career. So that Southern accent we heard.
This whole thing started for me last year at the CMA Music Festival out on the riverfront stages.
We could talk about her fiance's ties to bigots, his family, Trump, anti-vax content, but we're gonna focus on Taylor because we can't judge her too hard on the person she's dating. We're gonna start off with the lyrics, I'm not a bad bitch and this isn't savage. I hate saying it as much as I hate hearing it. Many people read this as a direct hit at Taylor's fiance's ex, Kayla Nicole, a black woman. Beyond the unnecessary shade, let's dissect those lyrics. She's the Shakespeare of her time. We have to dissect the lyrics. I'm not a bad bitch and this isn't savage. I'm a good white girl. I'm soft and demure.
I can't believe it, y'all!
I'm palatable. I'm safe. This is the foundation of white feminism. It erases intersectionality, centers white woman victimhood, and builds an entire brand off of good girl. White feminism is about doing the bare minimum. I'm sure we remember this clip of Taylor.
Votes against the reauthorization of the Violence Against Women Act, which is just basically protecting us from domestic abuse and stalking.
Where was this energy when you need to speak up for the women of Sudan? Where was this energy when children in Gaza had to use tent pieces for their pads? Let's talk about her next attack with her album, Charlie XCX. Now, I'm not the biggest fan of Charlie for writing a song for her friend Dasha, host of the Red Scare. Anyone forgot, Dasha once filmed herself at a gun range, shooting at a target wearing a kufiya. So Taylor and Charlie going back and forth isn't the most horrible thing that could happen, but the fact that Taylor targeted her man's exes, Charlie, Olivia, yet didn't attack Trump, it's just something to note. Let's jump into her and Olivia Rodrigo. Now, a few years back, Olivia released the song Deja Vu and said it was inspired by Taylor's song. And Taylor was kind of a mentor for Olivia, and instead of saying, thank you for the shout out, she said, put my name on that. In her song on her new album, she says, I was your father figure. You pulled the wrong trigger. Okay, Taylor was kind of a mentor for Olivia, so that's obviously about her. Funny enough, Taylor was inspired by a Jonas Brothers song, so let's see if they get their name on Taylor's song. Surely there's more to say as well, but I can't make this video too long. What do you guys
I've been cooking, let's grab a bite. Maybe I'm on the menu tonight. I take your game, choose on the prize. Honestly, what you mean makes me feel like I'm up on my sincerely, I put my best to bed. Make a wish, the mistletoe's unfolding. I'm ready to for you. I'm not the same girl are not that I'm trying. I can't.
Now we have Ruined the Friendship, ladies and gentlemen, in which she is basically describing the details of not pursuing a former friend romantically and details the regrets in regards with that. So her verse basically said, glistening grass for September rain, gray overpass full of neon names, you drive, 85, Garden Road and the lakeside beach, watching game for your brother's sheets, you smile, miles wide. And as they set the scene, you gotta do all that stuff. And they talking about the tension and the date mainly drive, flying to 85, and reckless stride, the invitation, Gallatin Road and the lakeside beach. That's up by the Nashville area. And chorus says, and it was not an invitation, should have kissed you anyway. Should have kissed you anyway, and it was not convenient, no, but your girlfriend is away. Should have kissed you anyway, hey. Connecting to the girl at home. Verse 2 basically explains shiny wood floors underneath my feet. Disco ball makes everything look cheap. Have fun, it's prom, wilted corsage dangles from my wrists. Over his shoulder I catch a glimpse and see, you looking at me. Right? So we go here. Concepts, having fun. Wearing a corsage, utilizing school dances, right? So this is Lang on the right and this is Taylor on the left, right? And she said it was not an invitation, but as the 50 Cent song played Should Kiss You Anyway, and it was not convenient, no, would have been best mistake. Should Kiss You Anyway, hey. So basically she got inspired to record albums. She had a mass as she found out 50 Cent was bullying Randall Emmett, who dated Lala, Ken on Vanderpump Rules. And texted him Monday morning Randall, and Randall saying $41 million for Spy Screw Brown to sell back the Masters. This is also like 50 Cent being a suit collaborator vigilante shit who will pitch me thick and thieves for your ex-wife, because now he's cool with Lala Ken after he got his money by Monday. He just doesn't like it for a few days a year for me. Do not get him. But I'm sure he gets a better chance as a text, right? And you see all the stuff that deals with the business side of things. So this is how they have the screenshots. If you're able to try and scroll down a little bit further, you could definitely see the frustration of 50. And she said it would have been the best mistake. Even though it wasn't a happy ending in the song, tells her how Sesame, the first move, fall in love with a friend, delicate. Britt said, didn't make it awkward in the second period. My pitch act soft, played with me good. Same phrase safe, didn't mean you should. Don't make it all in the second period. My pitch act softly. We've been good. Staying Fred safe don't mean you should. When I left school, lost track of you. Abigail called me with the bad news. Goodbye, and we'll never know why. And this is the tragedy that came down, in which Jeff, unfortunately, has tragically passed away from an accidental overdose. And the goodbye, we'll never know why. And we don't know if it's an actual accident or not. And it was not an invitation, but I flew home anyway. With so much left to say, it was not convenient, no. But I whispered at the grave, should have kissed you anyway, ooh, and it was not an invitation. Should have kissed you anyway, should have kissed you anyway, and it was not. So given that lyric, basically shows it was not the invitation, but first the Taylor wanted to kiss the song, subject despite him being in a relationship. Here, the lyrics meaning is changed to reference the fact that he did not invite her to his funeral, which would have been physically impossible. Taylor flew home for the funeral with so much left to say, but unlike the choruses, when the obstacles could have been overcome, alleviate some discomfort, it's too late in the bridge. The barrier between her and the song search felt impenetrable due to the latter's passing. And basically, had she flips there, and basically shows definitely a situation in November 2010 in which Taylor Swift flew home to sing at high school friend Jeff Lang's funeral the day before the 2010 BMI Country Awards, in which she thanked Lang during her acceptance speech for Country Songwriter of the Year at the ceremony. And they basically wished her at the grave. Swift kissed her anyway, right? And she says, my advice is to always ruin the friendship. Better than that, than regret it for all time. Swift kissed you anyway. And my advice to always answer the question better than that than to ask it all your life. Should have kissed you anyway. But hey, end of the day, it's their loss, their problem. If the person was still alive, I would actually tell the guys this is live your life, enjoy the time you have with your current girlfriend, because the people that actually friend zone you and they actually see you doing like a lot better and well for yourself. Now, this situation here is definitely far different because unfortunately, that gentleman unfortunately passed away, which is very, very tragic and very unfortunate. But if they're actually still alive and you're actually doing your thing and they actually notice you up that, let them be, let them go on their merry way. You focus on you at the end of the day. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we have the track of Actually Romantic, in which Taylor takes a jab at Charlie XCX. Another pop star that's really up on the rise as well. Basically, it's widely served as sponsor. Charlie XCX released song widely seemed to be about Swift. It's a lot of speculation in regards with that, but they actually come by and literally try to attack Charlie in regards to the personal feelings of insecurity. In regards with this, which even with the sets of brats also feel tension between those fan bases and these artists as well. And mind you, the boyfriend that they had time with Charlie, they're now married, right? So verse 1 says, I heard you call me boring Barbie when the coach got you brave. High five my ex, and then you said you're glad he ghosted me. What a song saying makes you sick to see my face. Some people might be offended. So they've been compared to Barbie. In regards to that, more so it has been compared to Charlie XCX. Right? And I know Charlie XCX recorded a song for the Barbie movie as well, furthering the speculation. And basically, Charlie XCX leaned heavily into a party drug culture aesthetic with the Brat anthem. High level rats activity to come down. Right? And high five my ex, and then you said you're glad he ghosted me. And Charlie wrote about feeling envious and insecure around an unnamed girl in the trap, signaling a knife. And they speculated that it was going to be Taylor at the time. And at the time, they were both dating members of the same band. Charlie dated George Yannon, who she later married. And Taylor dated Maddie Healy at the time, right? And what's Taylor alleged that Charlie told Maddie she was glad he ghosted Taylor, given the continuation of Charlie and Maddie's friendship, as well as the fact that Charlie introduced Maddie to his now fiancée, Gabrielle Beto, right? It seems possible Charlie may have gossiped with her husband's friends. Could be, right? We don't know what's really going on. So, third line wrote me a song saying makes you sick to see my face. And basically, while singing nice with the song Taylor's like referencing, features negativity towards Taylor. The song does not say it makes Charlie sick to see her face, and which the lines say referring to are, don't want to see her backstage at my boyfriend's show, fingers crossed behind my back, hope they break up quick. So Charlie talks about being at war with the dialogue and feeling not nice but a wild war in the head. And this is a lot of stuff that's actually being real deep. And you see some people might be offended. And the chorus says, but it's actually sweet all the time you spent on me. It's honestly wild, all the effort you put in. It's actually a minute I really got to hand to you. Ooh, no man has ever loved me like you do. And it's basically speaking to Mr. Travis Kelce. Right? So they're dealing with the David LaChapelle shoot where Charlie was seen posting into your head with the friendship bracelets on it next to a giant version of the hand. Right? Is what you can definitely see. Verse 2 says, hadn't dive you in a long time, but you keep sending me funny Valentines. And I know you think it comes out vicious, but it's precious, adorable, like a toy chihuahua barking me from a tiny purse. That's how much it hurts. How many times your boyfriend said, why are we always talking about her? Right? Now, this verse comes towards Kim Kardashian, in which Taylor has some huge beef with, right? With 2018, Kardashian claims she will be sending Valentines to all her haters. That includes Swift. And within the other line, to also be a toy guards that you see that's up in there, barking from the tiny purse. And how many times your boyfriend said, why are we always talking about her? In regards to Charlie again. And now, Briz basically says, you think I'm tacky, baby? Stop talking dirty to me. It sounds nasty, but it feels like you're flirting with me. I mind my business, God's my witness, that I'll provoke it. It's kind of making me wet. Making Taylor moisturize, making the pussy wet. Feels like she's about to come. Right? So basically Swift tries her best not to be flirted with, but can't be flirted from this distraction when the subtext flirts with her, no matter if it sounds a little bit gross. A lot of moisturizing, ladies and gentlemen. As he says, it's actually romantic. You just give me so much attention, la la la. And you see the rest being history.
Taylor Swift's new album is a perfect example of how white women cannot fathom the idea of not being the most desired all the time. In her song Opalite, which is pretty clearly a reference to her and Travis Kelce's love, she says, "You were dancing through the lightning stripes, sleepless in the onyx nights, but now the sky is opalite." This is onyx. This is Opalite. Juicy! And it's no secret that prior to dating Taylor Swift, Travis Kelce pretty much exclusively dated black women. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to make the connection here. Not only that, but in the song Eldest Daughter, Swift says, "I'm not a bad bitch, this isn't savage." Like, The comparison being made here is very clear and the dog whistles are hidden in plain sight. And so not only is the album lacking musically, it's lacking in awareness. And so it highlights the idea that white women often cannot fathom the idea of not being someone's first choice, particularly another white person. And because of racism and Eurocentric beauty standards, white women have been consistently affirmed and reaffirmed, both socially and psychologically, that they should be someone's first choice, and therefore, in their minds, they think that they always will be. And if your beauty has been pedestalized and promoted as a premier beauty standard for centuries, so much so that other ethnic groups that are non-white have constructed their own hierarchies within their community based off of proximity to whiteness, it would make sense to think as a white person and as a white woman, more specifically, that like your beauty should be top tier always in everyone's eyes.
So what else does she need to do? She's broken all the glass ceiling, made all the money, proven that her dick is indeed bigger. Yet the minute that she's happy in a relationship and wants to settle down, we call her tone deaf and a trad wife in a negative way. Look, I am all about a powerful woman. But the whole point of power is being able to do whatever the fuck we want. Feminism was not about not being a trad wife. It was about having options to do whatever you wanted, including being a trad wife. We see this all the time in medicine. Young, brilliant, hardworking women proving themselves, acing the tests, achieving the degree and the title. The minute she wants to focus on her family, she's lazy. What a sellout. What a waste of an education. No, she can do whatever the fuck she wants without anybody's judgment, especially because you would never say the same thing about a man. Get your wish list, get your Opalite, get your Redwood, Taylor. You deserve it.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, okay, this right here is arguably one of the spiciest songs in the album that shows the narcissism of Taylor Swift. So verse 1, they want that yacht life on the chopper blades. They want those bright lights and Balenci shades. And a fat ass with a baby face. They want it all. They want that complex female character. They want that critical smash Palme d'Or and an Oscar on their bathroom floor. They want it all. So, let's see what we got here. Referring to rich folks. Again, rich folks and famous people, fat ass with a baby face. Definitely a lot of women want that big curvy ass. They want that said that black women originally had, right? Curvy ass, baby face, that's what you're trying to chase, especially with them plastic surgeries. You know what I'm saying? And either that or maybe some unrealistic expectations, I don't know. They want it all. Complex female character. Basically, they want to portray themselves as complex slave people to literally please the masses. It's Palme d'Or, highest part award term for the best feature film at Cannes Film Festival up in France. So, basically, the chorus says, I just want you, huh? Have a couple kids, got the whole block looking like you. We tell the world to leave us the fuck alone, and they do. Wow. Got me dreaming about a driveway with a basketball hoop. Boss up, settle down. Got a wish, swish, list. Okay? And this is what she's trying to fiend with Travis Kelce. You know, they want to try and make war white babies and be in their little segregated white community. that's fully gated up, okay? That's fully clear with stones. So they want their little she wants that little all white enclave that she's aiming for with Travis. You know what I'm saying? And I'll tell you what, I support that 100%. If you want to try and be where your people are 100%, go live your life. You know what I'm saying? See up there, just leave black folks alone that have no business up in your mess. All right? That's all I'm saying. So, they were thinking about the next steps, clapping cheeks, high cock on, multiple hard-ons. Tell the world to leave the fuck alone. They do. Keeping the love private from the public is very recurring all throughout the years. Got me dreaming about a driver in a basketball hoop with eyeline because he's responding to wealth and fame her whole life, but with a love, all she wants to be the of the life that she could have had. And then boss up, settle down, got a wish list. Wants to contrast how most people's whistle involved them bossing up by improving themselves and becoming successful in their careers. So basically, she's becoming more like the anti-feminist, the anti-sitting them in them. Basically, just being settling down with Travis Kelce. And I can understand why some people basically would call that trad white vibes. Verse 2 basically says they want that freedom living off the grid. They want those 3 dogs they call their kids. And all that good stuff. No hypocrite. And mind you, Taylor Swift is a former cat lady as well. They want it all. They want a contract with Real Madrid, Ronaldo, Kylian Mbappe. They want that spring break that was fucking lit. And that video taken off the internet. They want it all. And they should have what they want. They deserve one. I hope they get what they want. Skip to the bridge. I made wishes on all the stars. Please, God, bring me a best friend who I think is hot. I thought I had it right once, twice, but I did not. You caught me off my guard. Prophecy. Right? A lot of prophecy. Who knows how that relationship going to last? We don't know. So, we leave it at that, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, we have Wood. Monster cock. Juicy. But also basically meaning that Travis Kelce basically finally got Taylor Swift off her shadows. Once, the relationship mainly hit, and once, Travis started clapping into Taylor's cheeks with the long back. Juicy! You know what I mean? So we go to verse 1. Daisy's bare naked. I was distraught. He loves me not. He loves me not. Penny's unlucky. I took him back and then stepped on a crack. And the black cat laughed. Yeah, this is the playing. So she's saying that she's playing hopeful. She's no longer intending to possibly be in love. And she's internalizing the negative outcome. Penny's unlucky. I took him back. And Taylor basically picks that up on the tail side, which reinforces the theme making the wrong choice in love. Taking him back even though it's clearly bad luck for her. Step on your crack, break your mother's back. Taylor basically utilized it, basically in karma. Pre-chorus basically says, and baby, I'll admit I've been a little superstitious. Fingers crossed you put your hand on mine. Seems to be that you and me, we make our own luck. A bad sign's all good. I ain't got to knock on wood. So she's confessed she may be influenced by Supernatural. And it seems to be basically the couple between Travis and Taylor. Basically having a lucky number and bad signs all good. Ain't got to knock on wood. Dealing with good luck. And she's still a little bit suspicious on Monster Cock mainly Juicy as well. Even though it's slightly indirectly, but it's mainly shown definitely at the end of the song. All that bitching, wishing on a falling star, whining and complaining about relationships. It's you and me forever dancing in the dog. Never did me any good. I ain't got to knock on wood. All of me is understand. I ain't got to knock on wood. Post-chorus basically says, forgive me, it sounds cocky, right? And he dickmatized her and opened her eyes. Juicy. Travis dickmatized Taylor, opened her eyes, clapping them cheeks, Juicy. Big cock, tight pussy, all that. Who knows, right? So you have the sense of the dickmatized. Basically, she got herself moisturized and dealt with sexual healing by Marvin Gaye. Alright? Redwood tree basically means basically like a pussy bush up in like the pubic hairs and the pussy. That's what he means by redwood tree. And he says basically his love was a key to open my thighs. Juicy. And verse 2 says, girls, I don't need a catch-a-king to know that a hard rock, a ring, merits, is on the ray. And also, definitely a hard rock when it comes to hardwood. Juicy! Now, pre-chorus basically says, and baby, I'll admit I've been a little superstitious. A curse on me is spoken by your magic wand. Juicy! Seems to be that you and me, we make our own luck. New heights of manhood. Travis Kelce. I ain't got to knock on wood. Juicy! Sexual healing.
And it's good for us.
And you see the chorus there. And you see the post-chords coming up here a couple times. And man, I'll tell you, ever since he got into a new man, she feels like she got to have a new man to validate her own self and validate her as the person of Taylor Swift.
Sexual healing, baby. And it's good for us.
Juicy! Alright, so we got the cancel track coming in, and it basically talks more about cancel culture, especially with Taylor Swift. So verse 1 basically says, you thought that would be okay at first. The situation could be saved, of course, but they already picked out your grave and hearse. Beware the wrath of mass crusaders. So basically it starts with the artist that's coming in, and because the block is how it be, the heavy surveillance, especially with the internet, you know, it could be near irreversible. And it says, beware the wrath of the mass crusaders, with, you know, people actually coming behind the computer, actually typing their stuff online. And basically, in the pre-chorus, he says, did you girl pause too close to the sun? Did you catch having far too much fun? Come at me when he sees the run, some wicked this way comes. So girl bosses and business successful women, which is a great example. And with the second part of the line, first said, famous is the Icarus, overcoming ambition, flew too close to the sun, wings melted off, and he plummeted down to the ocean. So Taylor also listened where they got too greedy, but it's already pointed to herself, right? Now, second line is, did they catch having far too much fun? And some wicked this way comes. In which they have the little poem that you see up in here. I know a lot of feminists are really going off in regards with this. I think it's a little bit of an overreach. Given the situation, I wouldn't even actually take it too lightly. But that's just me. Now, this is the one that I want to definitely try and focus on with the chorus. Good thing I like my friends canceled. I like them cloaked in Gucci and in scandal. Like my whiskey sour and poison thorny flowers. Welcome to my underworld where it gets quite dark. At least you know exactly who your friends are. They're the ones with matching scars. So that's where they basically had their support with Blake Lively here. In which Lively praised Taylor's music, and they've been close very since. And basically they had the controversy with Lively when what she started alongside Jason Baldoni, who basically dealt with the lawsuits. And the fact that the potential was tied up with a lawsuit leading to Lively receiving the way of online criticism, affecting me in cancer certain circles. But basically, Swift affirms her loyalty there based on what I'm seeing. Whiskey Sour, definitely she loves whiskey. Poison, thorny flowers. Basically referred to herself as poisonous or thorny in several songs, definitely throughout her career, and she's shown herself to be a narcissistic person. Given that. Welcome to my underworld where it gets quite dark. Basically about the underworld, headspace, industry, fame, and asylum. What's this actually discussing? At least you exactly know who your friends are. And basically show who real and who is not. They are the ones with matching scars. Verse 2 says, it's easy to love you when you're popular. The authors click, everyone prospers, but one single drop, you're off the roster. Tone deaf and hot, let's fucking off her. So basically, that's basically where the game comes in the music industry here. So multiple interpretations could be referred to also exploding popularity overnight. Or if you do underperform to one album, you can be canceled quick. So the pre-chorus would say, did you make a joke only a man could? Were you just too smug for your own good? Or bring a tie violin to a knife fight? Baby, it all ends tonight. World's smallest violin, trying to come silly clap at Charlie XCX, right? Brit says they stood by me before my exoneration. They believe I was innocent, so I'm not here for judgment. No, in regards to the Kim Kanye chaos up in 2020, right? So they're going through Kim Kanye sneak dig from what they were saying. Verse 3 goes, but if you can't be good, then just be better at it. Everyone's got bodies in the attic, or took someone's man, will take you by the hand, and soon you learn the art of never getting caught. Basically be a vigilante, and basically be sneaky in that way. And these gnats are so annoying, excuse me, y'all. So, that's basically the end of the song right there.
I want to have a conversation around being mediocre. Why is mediocrity so polarizing as it pertains to the critique and observation of Taylor Swift? Mediocrity is offensive as black people because we are told we need to be 2 to 3 times as good to be seen competitive in any arena in this country. So our threshold for greatness is way higher than an average white person. Being compared to mediocrity is not only offensive, it's insulting. I made a comment a couple of weeks ago and I said that Taylor Swift has zero impact on the black community. And a white woman responded by trying to sick black women who were Swifties on me like they were trained dogs. It got me thinking, why do white women feel that the dislike of Taylor Swift equals a dislike of all white women? We have to ask ourselves what Taylor Swift represents and be honest about that representation. It's whiteness and white womanhood in America, which allows her to be a perpetual victim whilst being untouchable and closed to critique or correction from the masses, which is heavily reinforced by her fans, which leaves us, everyone else, either too black, not in the know, not smart enough, or labeled a hater because we don't understand her success. I can go to a random black church on any Sunday anywhere in America and pluck 20 musicians and vocalists who are better than 90% of the artists that we currently have out. And if you ask yourself, why aren't they all famous? That's due to our positioning in this country and how we're not allowed to climb and thrive. Songwriting, vocal ability, performance, and stage presence are the main tenets of what a great artist should possess. But given the fact that Taylor's been dubbed the songwriter of our generation, command of songwriting is more than a 5th grade allegory with simplistic rhyming skills masked as greatness. Between the slew of rappers, songwriters, and musicians we have that are excellent and get notoriety for that excellence, ergo Kendrick Lamar and his Pulitzer Prize, there's a threshold for what is considered good writing, and Taylor just simply isn't that. Taylor being labeled one of the best songwriters and lyricists of our generation is the biggest slap in the face and stems from the systems of white supremacy she represents in America's modus operandi, where white people can be mediocre and thrive and considered great, and we have to be excellent to be compared to said mediocrity. You guys feel that the hate she's receiving, especially from black and brown people, may be disproportional, but it's because you've never been forced to look at life through the lens of people who have to be excellent to even compete. You, the fans, labeling her excellent when we are forced to know excellence is the reason there's a huge disconnect between you, the fan, and the rest of us. Being labeled mediocre isn't an insult. It's the truth because majority of people in this country, whether white, black, Asian, or brown, are mediocre. But said mediocrity presents itself differently because we're all not able to show up and be average and succeed. Take the mediocre nature of Taylor's talents and couple it with the fact that her fan base is equally from the same demographic, propping her up, someone just like themselves. They have the audacity to even bring her into conversations where she doesn't belong. Michael Jackson, Beyonce, Whitney Houston, and Madonna, to name a few. And they compare her to these greats because for them mediocrity isn't seen as such. It's seen as the status quo. It's been really interesting to see the response to Taylor's album and seeing diehard fans buy 30 copies of the same lazy album while many other non-mediocre white people can see it for what it is. The inability for Swifties to understand the different realities for Americans and why mediocrity isn't allowed or accepted in the black community somehow always lends itself to racism. But that speaks volumes on what Taylor represents in America. Whiteness. The slew of racial dog whistles, laziness, and a hodgepodge of songs I would label an afterthought is the culmination of years of Taylor being able to simply show up and represent white womanhood with zero competition. You guys say, oh, but she's a songwriter of our generation, you have to understand her. And my rebuttal is, for who? Taylor's brand is distancing herself from non-white communities and being a perpetual victim, stuck in 6th grade in a land where everyone hates her and she's not like the other girl. A byproduct of being a white woman in a system that allows white women to be delicate flowers for their whole lives. I'm not sure why or how this album was so bad or why so many of you have woken up to Taylor's mediocrity, but these critiques aren't hate. It's more of an eye-opener to the ethos of who Taylor is and what she represents in America. And to answer your question, Taylor, girl, yeah, you absolutely girl boss too close to the sun. Happy Thursday.
So we got the track Honey, the second to last track that's banging out. Intro says you can call me honey if you want because I'm the one you want. Basically going towards Travis Kelce. So chorus says, when anyone called me sweetheart, it was passive aggressive at the bar and the bitch was telling me to back off because a man had looked at me wrong. If anyone called me honey, it was saying in the bathroom, white teeth, they were saying that skirt don't fit me and I cried the whole way home. So that's basically what described the woman, the way that's being very aggressive towards Taylor, and Taylor was crying the whole way home with the Dear John, and post-chorus said, but you touch my face. We define all those blues when you say, honey. Travis Kelce. Again. So, summertime spritz, pink skies. You can call me honey if you want, because I'm the one you want. Wintergreen kiss on mine. You give it different meaning because you mean it when you talk. Honey, I'm home. We could play house. We could bed down, pick me up. Who's the baddest in the land? What's the plan? It could be my forever nightstand. Honey. So if I'm looking through basically what they mean here, it's all basically going towards Travis right here. Getting a little feel of different meaning. The fact that that's the new boo. So, out playing house. Have a little more privacy. Who knows who's the best in the land? But yet, you know, she claims she ain't really a bad bitch, though. But, you know, she's actually giving Travis encouragement, and that's definitely fine. You know, she definitely lets Travis lead, and if that's how they want to have in their relationship, that's definitely their right to do so. It's not my place whether or not it's definitely like a good or a bad thing. But my main concern is the narcissism and definitely the mindsets and like the subtle jabs of other people that are not fully involved in their business like that. And it says, you be my forever nightstand, honey. Infinite clapping cheeks. Juicy! You know what I'm saying? Now, post-chorus, but you touch my face. I think I already did that. Verse 2, you can call me honey if you want. Because I'm the one you want, I'm the one you want. You give a different meaning because you mean it when you talk. Sweetie, it's yours. Kicking indoors. Clapping cheeks. Juicy! Take it to the floor. Give me more. Buy the paint, the color of your eyes. You can feed my whole damn life. Honey. Now, pre-chorus says, when anyone called, let me late night, he was screwing around my mind. Asked what you wearing too high to remember in the morning. Basically, it's the previous fling. Was partner was feeling the same, addicted to drugs. And when anyone called me lovely, they were finding ways not to praise me. But you say like you are me and you stay until the morning. Honey. Basically knowing the love in the last relationship. No more talk from me. So we have the final track of The Life of a Showgirl. Actually basically named The Life of the Early Age Stripper. Right? And basically it's done with Sabrina Carpenter. And actually Taylor is the first one to mainly go here. They are actually trying to use it as the last track. Her name was Kitty. Made her money being pretty and witty. They gave her the keys to the city. Then they said he didn't do legitly. Oh, I bought a ticket. She's dancing in guards and fishnets. 50 in the cash, there missteps. Looking back, I guess it was Kismet, right? high level showgirl stuff, like, show business, like, stripping business, right? Exotic dancing business, triple X rated business. You know what I'm saying? They basically do like a character sketch study of like a woman that does like some subtle prostitution and charm performance, right? I waited by the stage door, packed in with autograph hounds, barking her name, then going like the end of a cigarette while she came out. I said, "You live in my dream." Then they sell to me, and this is the chorus saying, "Hey, thank you for the lovely bouquet. You're sweeter than Pete's, but you don't know the life of a showgirl, babe, and you're never ever gonna. Wait, the more you play, the more that you pay. You're softer than a kin, so you don't know the life of a showgirl, babe. You're never gonna wanna. Alluring, offensive, showgirl, accepting the gifts, but the worlds can't be romanticized, easily entered." Now, showgirl's mainly dealing with the stripping, but really the album really doesn't detail about life of stripping. It mainly details about the life of fame. Excuse me. These freaking gnats, man, are so annoying. It mainly details with the life of fame that Taylor mainly deals with. Based on their analysis, I wish this made like a much better title based on that. And much of that album is mainly dealing about her current man, Travis Kelce. Now, Sabrina says she was a menace, the baby of the family in Lenox, Massachusetts, up in the Berkshires. Her father whored around like all men did. Her mother took pills and played tennis. Very unfortunate, traumatic shit, right? A lot of chaos that the girl was raised in. So they waited by the stage bars. The club promoter arrived. She said, "I saw myself have a taste of different light that's all mine." Early days of stripping. But that's not what showgirls that they leave us for dead, right? And they discuss female pop stars once they leave their 20s in regards to the hard new young star that's there. In 2019, Taylor said, "We exist inside women and entertainment scarred by the time they're 35. And mind you, Taylor is about to be 36 later this year." And you see the same chorus that's there. And you see the bridge come through. "I took her pearls of wisdom, hung them from my neck. I paid my dues every bruise. I knew what to expect. Do you want to take a scare in the ice inside my veins? They ripped me off like false lashes and then threw me away. And all the headshots on the walls of all dance hall, all of the bitches who wish I'd hurry up and die. But I'm more now, baby dolls. I couldn't if I tried." Ripped it off with like the former folks in the industry that's there. And the life of the showgirl that's there, where she hurried up and died. And basically with the impact on the music, we always be saying, so no matter how much time passes, how many also be in her place, even though Taylor goes past her prime. And they have a different chorus basically saying, "Thank you for the lovely bouquet. I'm married to the hustle." Basically devoted to the job and career. And I know the life is showgirl, babe, but I'll never know another. In regards to social media and fame, pain hidden by the lipstick and lace. Sequins are forever with silhouettes. And I know life is showgirl, babe, wouldn't have it any other way. And they said, "Thank you for the lovely bouquet. Oh, wouldn't have it any other way." And now make money pretty and witty. And they have the showgirl actually thanking Keith for the advice. That's definitely there. And after says, "Thank you for an unforgettable night. We'll see you next time. Give it for the band and the dancers. And of course, Sabrina. I love you, Taylor. That's our show. We love you so much. Good night." So this is basically them actually doing a live setup for the special mashup on October 26, 2024. In which they actually did some mashups, definitely in concerts around that particular time.
I want to have your white babies, and I actually want our entire neighborhood to be racially homogenous. She went through this entire thing with Trump, right? About how she and her fan base did not like being called childless cat ladies. And now Taylor is calling y'all childless cat ladies.
Either The Life of a Showgirl is one big racist, homophobic dog whistle, or everyone has lost their absolute minds. Apparently singing about your new fiance is endorsing eugenics now. And the song Cancelled is a MAGA anthem. The Hamlet character Ophelia, a happy ending instead of a tragic one, is an endorsement of the patriarchy. The song Opalite is a white supremacist anthem for I don't know why. And it's also homophobic too. And Also racist while we're at it. The question is a dog whistle really a dog whistle if only the offended party can hear it?
That little response video of Taylor Swift, you can tell that girl's been mad. She been crying, she mad. The downfall of Taylor Swift. I love it. I absolutely love it. It comes to the fact that her music has not matured at all. And that's why people are comparing her to people like Rihanna and Beyonce and people who are in her competition, I want to say, like, circle. Because as they got older, then you don't see Beyonce, a married woman, making songs like, you know, Put a Ring on It and all that shit anymore. Like, you don't see her doing that. Like, she's evolved with her audience and her music has matured with her audience. Taylor Swift still makes music for, it's kind of creepy if you think of it, because it's almost like she's making music for 14 and 15 year olds. Like, what do you have in common with a 14, 15, 18 year old? Like, that's kind of weird. Like, you shouldn't be making music for them. You should be making music for the people who were listening to you back in 2014 and shit like that. You could tell she was crying. She was definitely crying. She's mad. And she's just a rich girl who got famous, basically. I mean, when you have the money that Taylor Swift had, her parents had, and all that stuff, and she may not have been like buku rich at that time, but she had enough money. She came from enough wealth to move shit around if she wanted to be, just like Drake. Drake ain't grow up with like bukus of money, but his family knew people. They had connections, they had money, and they made him popular. They made him a singer. He wanted to do it, he did it. You know what I'm saying? So she was just rich, and she got as far as she did because of that. And now people are starting to recognize her for who she is and realizing she really don't got no talent. She really ain't got no talent. And I'm glad y'all starting to realize.
Now, so how do I feel in regards to the whole Taylor Swift situation with the album? Yes, basically digging deep into it with the album itself, it basically just shows more so with like Taylor Swift's claim to fame and rise to fame. But it also does show narcissism due to the fact that she mainly has those albums mainly set up all over like certain guys that she mainly deals with, whether it's like a current boyfriend he's dealing with, or whether she's dealing with like an ex that you've seen in previous albums that a lot of people have mainly talked about. You could definitely see the narcissism that Stephanie plays there, because she feels like she's not whole without leeching to somebody, without actually trying to take psychological control over that particular person. And actually staying with that person, even though that man's complaining about his past ex, and she feels to stay with him as she try and be like, oh, the yes man, I can do whatever you say, and basically do like the love bombing, that type of stuff. You know, it gives to me narcissistic vibes. And given some of the tracks that I read with the lyrics, saying I'm not no bad bitch, I'm not no savage, is like a subtle jab at Kayla Nicole. Now, I don't know about the stuff that they've been coming by. Yes, Kayla Nicole is still acting a fool and she's having her neediness is definitely there. But that part right there is definitely unnecessary. Opalite saying, oh, you were like some black women, now you with this white girl, that's definitely there. And it's fine if you guys want to actually just be together, but that to me reeks jealousy. That to me definitely reeks insecurity and also racial, given the fact. And also take note, she has a history in actually hitting some subtle racial lines when in her lyrics definitely over the years that have all white folks really just crying down to her knees. And even some like visuals that you see up in the videos that shows like some Nazi dialogues that mainly show this type of thing as well. So this is not her first time mainly doing this. So I can understand why a lot of folks are mainly waking up to her being covertly racist based on the stuff that she's mainly saying, given the subtleties of her lyrics, given some of the stuff they're saying, hey, she's not a bad bitch, girl bossing all the way up to the sun, all these things. All those lyrics, those key lyrics within those key hits that she says in regards to that, has mainly showed her subtle true colors, mainly at the end of the day, that she's more than likely a narcissist behind the scenes, as well as a subtle closet racist behind the scenes as well. And what I will also say is that the main reason why Taylor Swift mainly blew up the way that she did, it's not mainly because of her talent, right? It's mainly due to her mediocrity, and a lot of people who feel that way can actually see themselves in her, see her in them, or vice versa. That's why they mainly relate to her songs like that. And that's why she's been blowing up mainly over the years. You know what I mean? That's basically like, in my personal opinion, as to why she is where she is. Because a lot of folks, when her mindset, are mainly feel that way, and because they're the same color, and because they share the same culture, that's why they support the way they do, you know. So never go on Whitney Houston levels, Mariah Carey levels, Taylor Swift, or even Beyonce levels, or even the levels of Christina Aguilera or Britney Spears, or in some cases Tate McRae, Sabrina Carpenter, and even Olivia Rodrigo. All she does is make a hefty $1 billion just for her being mediocre. All in all, I even bothered listening to some of the music in this album, and I can definitely understand why a lot of folks have just gotten off of the Taylor Swift bandwagon. No more talk for me, y'all. None.
I'm going to explain to you why I'm not a Taylor Swift fan by telling you a little story. When I was in 5th grade, we were asked to write a paper on our favorite singer. And the singer I chose to write my paper about was Darlene Love. My mother will confirm this in the comments. Who is Darlene Love, you may ask, which is crazy, but... You may or may not see where I'm going with this. I'm gonna play you some of my other favorite artists when I was young.
Them young girls, they do get wearied wearing that same old miniskirt dress. Yeah, 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 yeah.
This is a very small snippet of the kind of music I was a fan of when I was young. This is music and singers that I consider to be great. To my personal ears, you cannot compare the two. I don't know how to go from listening to music like that and idolizing music like that and putting Miss Swift in the same category. No problem with people saying that they like her music. When we start saying that she's one of the greatest singers of all time, no, she's objectively not. Personally, I actually find that offensive. They are simply, to my ears, not in the same category. They're not on the same planet, frankly. I personally find her to be mediocre. I personally am not super interested in celebrating mediocrity. I personally just think the world has seen greater talent. I have no problem if you really like her music. That's great. I'm not saying you can't like her music. I take umbrage with when we're saying she's one of the greatest singers of all time, because she objectively is not. Do I think she has some catchy pop songs? Yeah. Do I think she's one of the greatest performers of our time? No. No, I don't. I think she is a very smart businesswoman. I respect her for her ability to make money. She is very good at marketing, and she is very good at the game of capitalism. I'm just not interested in celebrating mediocrity.
Insecure white girl with a black chest, thinking that I want a man that used to date black women.
I do not live in the Taylor Swift neighborhood, but some of the people that do are calling her album mediocre and frustrating. And I don't decide if that's true or not. But if it is, it could be a good thing. Across every industry, there are specific types of people that make it to a high level without high skill. They get 7-figure book deals without even needing a proposal. You got a song you think people should be loving, but instead there's some crazy guy singing instructions for lynchings. But every time you see something you think is bad in first place, it should be your reminder to take up more space. This woman was confident when she picked up her pen and started using black slang incorrectly. Get out into the world and share your skill, because I guarantee you the less talented person will.
I love Taylor Swift's recent album because it is both a physical manifestation and an artistic expression of a phenomenon I like to call Dick Dilemma.
Juicy!
Let's start by stating the obvious. Taylor Swift has been completely dickmatized by Travis Kelce.
Juicy!
That is not a secret. That is a well-known fact. Travis Kelce is by far the most consequential man that she has ever been with. And coincidentally, the most masculine. But we can talk about the correlation between psychological impact and masculinity on another day on a different video. Back to the main point. Taylor is seriously emotionally invested in Travis Kelce. What happens when a woman falls in love with a man? Truly, what happens? She begins to mirror him, she begins to match him, she begins to essentially morph into him. How do you know a girl likes you? She begins to pick up on your lingo, she begins to understand and think your thoughts, she begins to share your values. And this is not the product of social conditioning whatsoever. This is biology at its finest. On an evolutionary level, it benefits her to become more like you. So this transformation women do to become more like the men they like is pretty normal. It happens all the time. There's just one small thing that usually gets in the way of this transformation. And that is the tribe of womanhood. Specifically, the loyalty that every woman feels towards that tribe. You know, the being a girl's girl thing, being a feminist. And what is one of the major pillars that holds up the belief of feminism? Decentering men. And that's where the conflict happens. How can you be a girl's girl that decenters men when you're completely infatuated by one? Especially in Taylor Swift's case. She has not only built an entire career based off of being a girl's girl, but being the woman that makes music specifically for women who have been scorned by men. I am by no means a Swiftie or a Taylor Swift fan, but she's always had the same formula since the jump. Date man, break up with man, paint herself as a victim, write it in a song, make it a hit, sell a gajillion records. So her fan base is the girls, decenter men crowd. She built it that way. But for the first time in her career, because she's in love with Travis Kelce, she can't really relate to her audience anymore. And that is the perfect real life example of dick dilemma. Because the side of her that wants to be a girl's girl and shit on men is diametrically opposed to the side of her that just wants to lay up all day with Travis Kelce and pump out a few babies for him. And that internal battle has manifested in an incoherent album. And all I can say is, shout out Travis Kelce. He did a great fucking job. It's from Jason Favorite Scientist. With all this information, what must be done?
Mm.